Hi everyone, this is Jessica Evans with Love Live DC. I'm here again to share some information with you. I hope that you've had a great week, that your any New Year's resolutions that you've had are still going strong. Um, and so, one of the things that I wanted to share with you, particularly because it is the new year and we have all of these new ideas on self improvement, is also thinking a little bit about home improvement and a few ways that you can improve the value of your home or just preserve the value of your home. Um, and like with so many things in life, a little bit of prevention goes a really long way. A lot of times, there are little things you can do in advance to protect your home and prevent bigger issues that down the road are going to cost you more to fix. So, the first one I want to talk about is your heating and cooling system. Um, Many people know this, but not a lot of people do it. You should be having your heating and cooling system serviced at least once a year. Twice a year is even better. The reason why is it's one of the most expensive components of your home. And when it breaks, I don't know about you, but I don't really like going a long time without heating or air conditioning, depending on the season. And so when it does break, then that leaves you in a situation where you're like, oh no, I need to get someone in here right away. And you're going to be rushing to find a service provider, and maybe it's going to cost more. And you know, you have the inconvenience of either being freezing or really hot. So I can tell you they rarely break in the nice spring and fall comfortable temperature months. So having it serviced is going to identify some preventative repairs that you can do or just give you a better idea of the overall health of your system. Um, Along with that, make sure that you're changing your filters. They recommend every 90 days, but if you have pets or allergies, you might want to do it more often. Um, I recommend just buying a whole year's worth of filters at once. So then when you have them, handy, you can do that, put the date on it when you change it so you know. And I think if you have the filters in your home ready to go, it makes changing it like a 2-minute process. And that's going to save you time and money because your system's going to work more efficiently. Um, and it's also going to prevent dirt and dust and debris from getting into your system, which causes problems, obviously. So next, I'm going to talk about another thing. Now, this is outside, so if you have a condo, this might not apply to you. But if you live in a smaller condo building, maybe this is something also that the association should be aware of. And this is relating to rain and water. The number one threat to our homes is water. Water causes way more damage than anything else. So, in our area at least, we don't have earthquakes or those things. Um, so the next tip is to take a look at the grading around your home. So the grading is the slope of the dirt as it approaches the foundation of your house. And you want to have a negative grade, which means that the dirt slopes away from your house. The technical measurement is that it should slope 1 inch per foot for 6 feet. You don't have to be that scientific about it though. Like if you pour some water on the ground, like does it roll away from the house? If not, then the water is going to settle down into the soil that is right next to your foundation, increasing the chances of moisture getting into your basement or crawl space or whatever is under your home. So that's something that it's pretty easy in terms of preventative maintenance to take a look at. You can either do it yourself or have a landscaping company address it. Also, when you're planting things, um, people have a tendency to want to make some really nice gardens right next to their house. Just be aware that if you're piling up a bunch of dirt and mulch or anything else right next to your foundation, you're essentially trapping the water there and increasing the chances that you're going to have an issue. Um, so that's something so that's something to be aware of. Um, Next, I want to talk about something very similar, which is your gutters. Um, also in the category of preventing water from getting into your home. Um, Having your gutters cleaned once or twice a year is really important also. Um, your gutters are what direct the water from your roof away from your home and can prevent issues both above ground and below ground. Along those same lines, if you have downspout extensions that extend underground, you do want to have those checked, make sure that those are clear, like the water's flowing down. A lot of times what happens is your gutters get filled with leaves, they get pushed down the downspouts and into the downspout extensions underground, and then nothing's really working, right? The water's just all going to be piling up. Um, so having your gutters cleaned regularly is another really fairly easy, fairly inexpensive. It'll probably cost you maybe $100 to have someone come in and do it if you don't like heights or ladders or don't really want to get on the roof this time of year. So that's another preventative maintenance tip, because a lot of times if you are having a water issue, by the time you notice it, it could have already caused some damage, some mold, things that really end up being pretty costly to fix. So a little bit of prevention goes a long way in keeping the water out of your house. The fourth and final thing is take a look at your insulation. Not something we think about that much, but can make a big difference. So, especially if you have an older home, which most people do in this area, chances are you don't have quite enough insulation, or a good rule of thumb is that you can never have too much insulation in your attic or in your walls. You can definitely hire an energy audit company to come in if you think you have some major issues. Um, but just adding insulation to your attic or your basement, anywhere where you have access to exterior walls, is a good idea. Um, and it's something you can definitely do yourself. If you are going to add insulation to your attic, make sure you start by sealing around your light fixtures or anywhere where there's a hole um, into the ceiling of your upper level. And this can save you a lot of money in terms of energy efficiency. Anything that keeps the outside air out and the inside air in helps to better regulate the temperature, and then your heating and cooling system doesn't have to work as hard. So all these things kind of go together. They're all kind of connected. But there are things that in my experiences I've noticed sometimes people know they should do it, but maybe they don't. I'm guilty of not always doing them myself too, but maybe this is the year where you're like, okay, I'm gonna do a little bit better. If you haven't had any issues and you've been lucky, like that's great, but of course we know that can change, and I'd love to be able to save you some money in terms of preventing some expensive repairs down the road. Um, so also, if you need any recommendations for service providers, please don't hesitate to reach out. We work with a lot of different companies, and I like to say we try them for you. So let me know if there's any service provider recommendations we can give you for any of these things. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.